My name is Mimi and I'm an 11th grader, and today this video is about me completing the CCR questions while you see me color in my coloring book. Hope you guys enjoy this video.
How does your product use or challenge conventions, and how does it represent social groups?
The genre our final task was thriller, and it was on thriller and crime. Basically, what some common conventions that we noticed in thriller films was, for example, the suspenseful music. All throughout our final task, we use suspenseful music, and when we're revealing Kindia, who plays as the kidnapper, that's when the music starts to build up. It starts to get you start to hear it more louder, and it kind of like sounds more dramatic when it kind of reveals her onto the screen, as she follows the person being kidnapped. And another thing we notice in thriller films is how they tend to, the antagonist or the person, like pretty much like the villain, they tend to wear dark clothing. With Kindia, who plays as a kidnapper, what we did for her is that we made her wear all black clothing, like black hoodie, black pants, and black shoes, so that way she seems mysterious. And like we also notice how sometimes they tend to hide their identity. And in our final task, we, to kind of like make Kindia appear mysterious, and like so that people don't really know how she looks and appear, we kind of pretty much cover her face with her hair so people wouldn't even notice who she was and be able to like spot her, because that's what tends to happen in thrillers. And even with like the crime dramas, there's always a crime that's going on that ends up like um a crime that goes on in the film, and the crime that was going on in ours was someone being kidnapped. So that was how we represented conventions in thriller and crime genres. A social issue that our final task represents is sex trafficking or human trafficking, or just like in general modern day slavery. We also mentioned that, I think, in our first few blogs we talked about how this final task will kind of like represent that. Like nowadays we notice how a lot, like there's a rise and increase in a lot of young girls being kidnapped and people going missing. So we're like, we should kind of do something about that, like do our final task a little bit on that. It doesn't really show that, but it just shows a girl being kidnapped in our final task. And a social group, I would say, is like, for example, kidnappers. Kidnappers tend to like not want to like reveal themselves out to the crowd. They tend to be dark, mysterious, and just like they tend to like wear clothing that doesn't reveal themselves so much. So for our character, what we did is that, like for example, Kindia, we made her wear dark pants, dark shoes, and just everything dark. And then we made her cover her face, because usually they tend to cover their face to not reveal their identity. So that's what we did to represent that.
How does your product engage with audiences, and how would it be distributed as a real media text?
I say one way we kind of grabbed our audience or our viewers' attention, I guess, through like the background music. It kind of created this kind of like, I don't know how to describe it, but basically this like anxious, scary feeling to it. And like it always showed someone, like in the beginning of our final task, it showed the kidnapper dressing down and then walking out the house, and then it shows a girl just who seems to be having a normal day, who looks okay, who looks happy. And then with the background music, it's like you're wondering, how could this be? This girl has this happy feeling about her day, but at the same time, there's like this dark, scary music to it. So you're like wondering what could happen next. We were thinking that what could our viewers think what would happen next, just with the background music, suspenseful background music. And for grabbing another thing is that, for example, when we were posting our final task on YouTube, I had my sibling watch it, and I asked him to give his opinion. And at the end of our final task, we included a screen that says 3 weeks before, and from there he was saying that, like, he wondered what happened to make this person be kidnapped, or why did the kidnapper want to kidnap her. It just kind of like made him wonder like what happened, and why did it happen. So I think that kind of grabbed our viewers' attention because it did grab my brother's attention and it made him want to like continue watching more. For getting our video out to the audience, I'd say we would basically for that we also like had blogs, and through our blogs we basically documented like our journey and like how things were going, and like from there our viewers could have followed along with it and like await for our final task to be posted. It getting it out there, we basically posted it on YouTube since that's the only way, only place we posted it. And not only that, if people read our blog, they could have also watched it on our blog. Marketing it, we could also like promote it on like our social medias. For example, we have Instagram and Snapchat. We did ask friends to like kind of like watch it and give their opinion and see like how did they like it and what did they think about it. And that's how we would have got it out there.
How did your production skills develop throughout this project?
Prior to being in this class, I really did not know much about filming. Like, sure, I did take pictures of myself and like took videos of like family, but I really didn't like do like the things that I do now like, in this class, like filming and making these type of projects. And being in this class, I've learned certain terms, for example, like high angles, low angles, and like even when I'm watching movies and films, I tend to like try to be able to like spot them and to just like practice like seeing like how do they make me feel as a viewer. I say that with filming, I've learned more to like um film different from different angles and like learn like what effect it would have. Like if I want to show that someone's vulnerable, I would film from like a high angle. And with editing, what I learned with editing is most commonly like cropping videos, being able to crop them, to like separate the audio from a video clip, and just without the video, you would just keep the audio. And I also learned with like putting transitions. I don't usually, like I said before, I don't usually like make or film that much, so like transitions were very new to me. And like with editing, I learned to like make smooth transitions in between my videos so that they don't look too like they don't just jump from one part to another, and like you just see the action just like it just doesn't seem right as they come together. So I was able to learn to make some smooth transitions. I also learned one thing recently is that even in our final task we're having issues with lighting, because there were certain days when the lighting was brighter because we were filming a little bit early in the day, and there are certain times when it was like darker, and we couldn't solve this issue because we couldn't meet up again or be able to meet up. So basically, with the Clipchamp app, I was able to like try to adjust the lighting, and I think that was a good cool thing, editing skill I learned, because even with that, it was like it kind of helped. I tried as much as I can to kind of like adjust the lighting as much as I can so that the clips look kind of like similar, and I think that was one of like the things I liked about learning to edit. I say that one thing about like my production skills is that I like filming more than editing, because editing is like we always came with issues with editing, and sometimes it just took long taking in videos, putting in videos, dumping them, and it was just a very long process compared to like filming. You just film and like you know how to do it, but with like editing it takes time. And I say one thing about this class, I say I do like filming and creating these types of projects. They were fun. I like that in even just being like a filmmaker in AICE Media, you're able to choose your own, not really choose the projects you want to do, but you can choose what you wanted it to be on. I wouldn't say I want to be a filmmaker because it interests me. It's fun. I like the things they do, but I wouldn't say that's something I would do in the future as a career, because I still am interested in being in the medical field and working in that. So, but I do say that I've grown a lot. I've learned certain things that I never known about filming, and even like the process and like the documenting and in the planning, especially with storyboards. One thing I learned about storyboards is that they really do help out later on when you're filming, because it kind of structures like how your film is going to turn out to be, and like helps with like the filming and what to film and how to film it, like if you're gonna use a high angle or close up.
How did you integrate technologies in this project?
In our research stage of our project, we basically um, went on certain websites. I don't remember the specifics, but we basically Googled, and then like cause we were researching our genre and other genres, so that's what we did. And to kind of create those videos and like those slides, we used Google Slides to create our PowerPoint. And for other research, such as watching and learning about the titles and watching opening scenes, for watching the opening scenes, we either use YouTube or Netflix for certain videos. Like for example, for the I think it was one of our movies, we could not watch it on any of the subscription apps we had, so we ended up just watching it on YouTube. Good thing it was on YouTube, so that was a good thing to know about. And other movies such as Ava and Bird Box, we watched it on Netflix. We were able to watch it on Netflix. And for like our titles, researching our titles, we actually researched on the Art of the Titles website and the Watch the Titles website. And I think that was basically it. And like basically for documenting our journey, like our filming, our editing, our planning, and those spaces or steps, we actually documented them in our blogger, and that's where we kind of like talked about what was going on, how everything's going, and what we were doing, and like going to do in the next few days. And I guess that was more of it for editing. We only use Clipchamp for editing, and